So we're super excited today to talk about server-driven rendering. Now, this technique allows your server to reconfigure components that will be rendered on the client. And this technique is incredibly popular in the industry already. It's used by big applications like Instagram. They have a technology called Blocks, which is server-driven rendering. There's Shopify and Lyft who also use these techniques. But it's used all over the industry, and I bet a lot of people in the audience are already using some type of server-driven rendering at your company. And of course, there's React server components, which is another way of doing server-defined rendering. But it can be implemented easily in your application code. And that allows you to have incremental adoption without adopting a new framework. So today, let's take a quick look at how you can use server-driven rendering in a real-world application.
Yeah, so let's have a look at the real-world application that me and Eric been working on. Here it is.
It's super real-world, right?
Yeah, it has 3 sections: groceries, restaurants, and taxis. It's a super deliver app. And so each section is a separate React component.
So the thing is we were about to ship this application, but the marketing department comes to us all of a sudden and says, hang on, we want to be able to change the order of these components on the home screen after we've shipped the application, and we don't want to force our users to upgrade for us to be able to reconfigure this. Yeah. So how can we accomplish that?
It's a bit of a tricky situation, isn't it?
You tell me.
Only if we had something we could call Rise to help with SDR, right? So let's replace our entire home screen with this new Rise component that takes 2 props: components and model source. Now, model source is the client that connects to your server, and components is a registry of components on the client side that you can reference from the server by the key. And here's what it looks like all together.
Okay, so we have the components here, and this is all of the things that the client can render.
Yeah.
And then the model source is telling the client where to get its data from.
Yeah.
In this case, it's our server.
Totally.
Okay, and then it's all coming together in this Rise component.
Yeah.
All right.
So then to render exact same UI as before, all we have to do is return a JSON structure from the server that describes what the UI should look like. In this case, you can see it has 3 sections, each referring to a component we previously registered with the Rise component, and you can see the keys right there.
Okay, so I guess the order is the same because the JSON is defining that order, and then when we want to rearrange the components on the home screen, I guess we just rearrange this JSON.
Pretty much, you guessed it right.
All right, look at that.
All we have to do is return the new order from the JSON, from the server, that will correspond to whatever is that we currently want to render on the screen. So now we're kind of ready to ship, are we?
Yeah, I know, Mike, we were about to ship, and you've been working really hard on this application, but the marketing team, they just came to us with another request. And they actually want to be able to offer a survey to the users at the very last minute. In fact, they haven't even finished designing the survey, but they want to have a banner so that way they can collect some feedback from the users to see how they like the application. So are we screwed? Like, can we ship this application?
Normally, yes, but not this time. I actually knew that marketing team would have some last-minute requests, so I went ahead and I actually put our entire design system in the component registry so that we have slightly more flexibility as to what we can render, not just these high-level grocery, restaurants, and taxis components, but possibly some other low-level stuff as well.
Okay, so how does that look like when we want to put this banner at the top of our home screen?
Let's do it. Back to our home screen, let's add entirely new section. This time we're going to use our design system components. So first of all, we start with a view container. It's just a container, and let's take a look at its children. The first child is an icon. In this case, message circle heart. And then another one is the title. So what we want is a simple text component with some sort of a string as a child. And at the end, we need the button.
Okay, look at that. So I guess the question is, like, what happens when the user presses this send feedback button? How do we send a function from the server to the client? Because you cannot serialize a JS function through JSON.
Yeah. So we can do it just like we would do it on the client side through props. But because it's the server, we cannot really write a function because, like you said, we cannot transmit that function over the wire. But we have another way. Instead of a function, we can pass a special object we call action that describes an operation that should run when this event happens on the client.
Okay, so how does this Rise component know what this navigate action is? Like,
So actually, there is one more prop that I didn't tell you about. Actually, there is few more, but we were just really shrinking it down to the bare minimum. We have actions. And actions is like a registry of actions, kind of similar to components, but instead of defining client-side components, you define a handler, which is a client-side function that will run when one of these actions referred by the key is referenced from the server, is triggered from the server.
okay, I see. So we
So
just
that's a
have to
quick
implement
preview,
navigate.
pretty much, how we can set that up in a real-world case.
Beautiful. Very cool. So I guess to take a step back, we've realized that server-defined rendering is incredibly popular in the industry. But for some reason, we don't talk about it very often in open source. So why is that?
Well, I'm gonna guess, takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. But today, we want to make it super easy to use server-defined rendering in your mobile applications. So we are so excited to announce Rise Tools. Rise Tools is a suite of libraries for server-defined rendering, and it's open source today. Woo! Yeah. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Oh, check this out. So this is the real code that we're running here. Can we try like changing the title? Like, let's see if they love Rise Tools. Can we change the title? Okay, wow, it changes instantly. Is that because we have like hot code reloading set up or something?
No, it's just the server reloading and sending the update to the client. We're actually using WebSockets in this example. You also have HTTP protocol, but if you're using WebSockets, you not only have a synchronization, but you can also do sort of state management and updates from the server as well.
Beautiful. All right, and I'm familiar with like React components, but what are all these like tokens, and what is this theme where is this?
The best component library in the world, Tamagui. Thank you, Nate, for that.
Yeah.
So this is Tamagui. So if you haven't used it yet, don't get confused with all the dollar signs. This is just the theme variables that we're referring to get this UI a bit more sort of production ready and cross-platform. No spoilers. So yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, so we've got this button for send feedback, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and click send feedback and show them our form.
Oops.
Mike, there's no form here.
Yeah. Looks
What,
like.
did we forget to implement it?
Yeah. So
It's the marketing team's fault. They didn't give
Yeah.
us the spec before we
luckily,
shipped the
luckily we
application.
always are one step ahead. And so Navigate is not the only thing that we have built in for navigation. We also have a way to register dynamic screens. So not only you can ship dynamic UI later on or change the order, you can actually create entirely new stacks and flows later down the road. So I guess we can go and implement something here just to show it works.
Okay, so yeah, even though this application is already in production, here you are writing a new screen for it.
I'm just trying my best to not typo, not do any typos. Feedback.
Yeah, it would have been good to have like a backup video for this demo in case something went wrong, but
This is the first time I'm doing live coding in my life, and it's going good so far, but it's been only 1 minute, so that's probably why.
well, you're nailing it so far. So we're implementing this feedback UI screen, and here we're going to render a sort of Tamagui Y stack. It's a vertical stack of components. And we're rendering an H3, so a title that should show up.
Yep.
Okay, check that out. Nice. So we're building our new screen, and it's a feedback form, so we need a form.
Yeah.
So like a form is like a lot of components. Like, are you sure you're going to do all this typing?
Yeah, there is a lot of boilerplate involved, right? And so we wanted to make it slightly easier for ourselves. So inside of our design system that we're using here, we actually created some utilities that we call Rise Form. It's a simple form that we use, and for every Tamagui component, such as input, text area, we have the same name with the field added to the end, which indicates it's a custom component. So each time you see us writing input field, that is our custom Rise form component. So we'll go ahead and start with Rise form, and then I'll create the.
Yeah, we want to
input.
collect some comments from the users, right?
Yeah, let's
so
do
we're
it.
going to say that the ID for this is comments, and the label is like, what do you think?
Yeah. So the ID is needed for the accessibility.
Okay, and then
That's
we're going to need like a button to submit this, right?
Yeah, we need the button to submit this, and we need to set a on submit. As you can see, we have an error. So let's maybe fix the padding as we are here.
Oh yeah, got to fix the padding while you're at it,
OCD. I'm not as OCD as you, but still.
Yeah, exactly. It's not me, it's the marketing team, okay?
Okay.
Okay, there's our submit button, but you can see there's type safety. It's warning us saying we didn't include the on submit thing, but here we are on the server. Like, can we provide like how are we going to handle on submit from the server?
So like I said, we cannot pass function to the client. So if you would write a function here to do something on the client side, it wouldn't work. You could do it with an action, but we really want to access the values. And you can still write a function. It's just that if you write it, it always runs on the server. So we can do a console log here, submit it. Save this.
Maybe we can get the values from the on submit as well.
That's a good idea.
And let's console log the values, so that way we can see how much our users love this app.
Yeah. So now let's do it. What do you think? I love it. Of course, I do.
Such positivity from our user.
This is the log from the server.
Nice. So we're able to get this server callback. And this is something that we've just implemented while our app is already in production. That's pretty fun, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's add another form.
Let's go. I'm warmed up.
Yeah, you're all warmed up.
Yeah, my hands are no longer like typing like I don't know how to type.
The marketing team wants to know how much the users love how useful the app is. So like they want a multiple selection, like a radio group.
Yeah. So we have the radio group in Tamagui, but again, we're going to use radio group field, and we're going to give it ID
usefulness.
One of the hardest words.
Yeah.
Usefulness. Okay. That's
got it.
I got it. Yeah. Label.
How useful is Rise Tools?
Thank you, Copilot.
Yeah, Copilot knows us.
You this whole time.
Yeah, exactly. And so for the options, the marketing team, they want a really positive reviews. So we should ask, like, do the users think the app is good, great, or incredible? There's no option for bad, for not being useful. It's always useful. Okay. Good, great, and incredible. Yes.
It's not the value, it's the key. The Copilot's not as clever as I thought.
Copilot failing. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let's change the mode to horizontal, actually, so that it looks more
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Now the marketing team wants one more question in our form, and it's going to be similar. They also want to know how easy is Rise Tools to use. So let's go ahead and create like another radio group field that has the same options for good, great, and incredible. So are you going to have to copy and paste this component?
We could do it, because explicit is always better than implicit, but React is famous for being composable, and it's not just the client-side components we can refer to from the server. We can actually have server functions on the server, so server-defined components that will do something like, in this case, will help us write slightly more concise code. So let's write rating field.
Okay.
And we will give it ID and label, and then obviously type this.
Wow, so this looks like it must be pretty familiar to React developers, but are we actually creating like a React component on the server?
I don't know.
The answer is no. This is a Rise component. So this is not a React component. This is not quite the same as React server components.
Yeah, there are differences, yeah.
So you can't use hooks in here, for example. This JSX is actually going to return the JSON that you were seeing earlier that goes over the wire. Okay, so how easy is it to use Rise?
How easy it is? I told you I have problems with questions. How easy it is?
How is it easy to use? It easy?
How is it easy? Like, this was the only thing I always had problems with when I was learning English, always failing tests when it comes to asking questions,
I think this is perfect.
Okay.
All right. Cool, so let's go ahead and use our form, submit, and we should see this from the server. Okay, but the server actually should respond with some behavior, right? We want to thank the users for loving our application so much. They seem to always love it, according to our options. And we also want to navigate them back to the home screen.
Yeah. So what we can do is we can use actions for executing operations and other side effects. And in this case, a server function, in this case on submit handler, cannot just console log values. I mean, it's pretty sick, but still, we can do better than that. You can return this response object with an action. So an action here we have, and we want to demonstrate, is a toast action, which will show a toast message saying thank you for your feedback.
Okay, So we also want to send the user back to the home screen.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We can
Yeah.
change it to an array, and just like we have built in navigate action, we also have go back. So in this case,
Nice. Okay, so it looks like we've annotated this with a response wrapper, and the reason why is because this actually is different from the data that we're going to send back to the client. So that's what this response is doing. Otherwise, this would be available as an async response for the onSubmit prop when it's called client side.
And even though, and another reason is that at the end of the day, this is really just JSON. The JSX syntax here is just to make it easier for you. So response source code is essentially return an object. Action is return an object. Toast, navigate are also objects. Everything's an object. What a fun statement, but it is what it is. That's it.
So Mike, the marketing team is happy.
Yeah, woo!
Can we give an applause to Mike for this amazing demo?
Navigate action has another property path, and if you're building your custom actions in the future, this is whatever your action needs. Navigate action needs a path. And this is the path that we're passing down to Rise component, which is yet another prop that I didn't tell you about, to render something different than the root URL from your server. So in case of our super deliver app that you just seen, what happens is we're pushing one React navigation screen to on top of another React navigation screen, and these are normal, regular React components without any magic, without any custom routing. All that happens inside is we get the path from the route params, like you can see here, and then we pass it down to Rise, and that's it. So using path as a lowest building block gives you a lot of different customization options and pretty much unlimited options as far as like how do you want to structure your navigation system.
This is so cool. So now we have server-defined screens with dynamic routing.
Totally.
Okay, and that is a quick look at what it's like to use server components. And I hope you love this concept of server-defined rendering as much as we do. We hope you love Rise tools, and we hope you give us a star on GitHub.
Wait.
What?
Wait a second. Hold on a second.
Yeah?
You forgot about the last-minute changes that I did.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
We did, not the marketing team. There is one more thing.
Oh, okay. We still haven't talked about like the most exciting thing today.
Yeah, we are so excited to be here, and this is the first talk we're doing after a while, and we're showcasing this project we've been working on, and we wanted to prepare something special, and so we created what we call Rise Playground.
Yeah. We are so excited about Rise Playground. Rise Playground is an app, and it allows you to connect to your server to use this whole library of components for developing new experiences and really getting up and running super quickly. And it's available today on the App Store and Play Store. You'll have a link to it from our website later, so don't worry. I know it looks like you can click these links, but you can't click them. So how about we show them Rise Playground? Let's give a quick demo.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what we've been showing you so far.
Yeah, and you know what?
What?
We've been in the Rise Playground this whole time.
Oh, yeah. It turns out this is the Rise Playground.
Yeah.
So we can go home, and here there's a button that says Connect Rise Server. So let's go ahead and connect, explicitly this time, to our local server.
Yeah, so maybe I'll show you the design system we got. So maybe some of the previous examples will be less confusing. So we're running on the localhost server, and the path is controls. So now you can see the defaults are gone, and you have the custom one. And this is the design system we've been using, and it contains many different form utilities, such as input, text area, a slider.
Yeah, it has all of Tamagui, plus it has a bunch of other stuff. Could we see some of those other things?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and let's show the code, of course.
Yeah. So here it is, input field, switch field, toggle group field, like a bunch of cool stuff. We have lists, draggable lists, toast, haptics, SVGs, icons linking, QR code bottom sheet, like a lot of different cool stuff. And once you're done, you can share it with your friends. So you don't really have to deploy it live. You can just share the link, and they can play around with it, or they can give you some feedback.
Yeah, so you could even take your server and put it in production, and then you can start developing and seeing what it's like to use server-defined rendering without touching a single line of client code.
Yes.
So that is Rise Playground. We are super excited. And Rise Playground is powered with Rise Kit. And the kit is a suite of tools that helps you quickly prototype experiences for your users.
Yeah, so the design system that we've been referring to was just the Rise kit this whole time. And what we've been using during the demo and what you just seen is also going to be available to you. Our vision for the kit is to include everything you need to deliver production-grade experiences, and we invite you to contribute to it and give us feedback as to what is it that you need to get ready and up to speed in no time. So this has been our introduction to Rise Tools. Check out our website, rise.tools. Isn't that
Nice
cool?
website.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
I know.
Good domain.
It's so hard these days, and still somehow we got this. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to reach out to a few of you to talk about Rise and get some feedback. So if you would like to stay connected, join our Discord server, follow us on Twitter, not just me and Eric, but also the Rise account, and obviously start the repo on GitHub because we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. We didn't tell you about probably 80% of it, and the most exciting one that we've seen so far is the full type safety. Oh my God, the TypeScript is just...
He won't shut up about the type safety.
I spent too much time on it, I'm sorry.
Oh, but it's beautiful. And finally, we're seriously wrapping up the talk this time.
Yeah.
We hope you love this concept of server-driven rendering as much as we do. With Rise Tools, you can dynamically deliver new features to your users without making big changes to your client infrastructure or adopting a new framework. We hope this ecosystem enables you to deliver new experiences to your users faster than ever before. So thank you so much for joining us, React Nexus. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.